Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Non Sequitur Nerds. Tonight, he is the hero that Gotham deserves, but it's time for him to rest. You're paying tribute to the now late and great Kevin Conroy. As always, though, I'm Tim, joined by Ian. How you doing, buddy?
Incredibly sad.
Yeah, this is
Um,
gonna be this is a very somber episode.
yeah, but we're going to try to punctuate things and make it not seem so somber. Obviously, this is a very sad occasion. Lost what many of us consider to be a hero and an icon, the icon of
Right.
our generation. Kevin Conroy was an amazing actor and a good, just a general good human. He was, very nice, and from what everybody said, he was a very fantastic guy. It was actually funny because I was texting with my brother about this the other day, and he said that when he was at a convention, Kevin Conroy had like walked by him, but he didn't have an opportunity to talk to him. Kind of felt bad about not actually being able to take up that opportunity. But
Right.
again, we're gonna try to make the best of a very very sad week. So kind of set the stage a little bit. Kevin Conroy passed away on November 10th of 6 after a very short bout. Cancer sucks.
Yeah.
Many of us have been affected by that, especially personally.
Yep.
And while I never got to know or got to meet Kevin, he was. I mean, his work was seminal to my childhood.
Very
My
much so.
growing up. I mean, he took up the mantle of Batman in Batman the Animated Series, both Batman and Bruce Wayne in Batman the Animated.
It was early
Uh,
'90s. Yeah.
yeah, and he'd been playing the character of Batman pretty consistently for the last 30 years. He was Batman for Batman and Bruce Wayne for most of my life.
Right. I mean,
So
well, not just animated series. I mean, as any of you that are watching the video see the graphic we have back there, he was Batman and Bruce in a lot of stuff beyond just animated series. I mean, a lot of the DC direct to video movies he was, the Arkham games. Um, I'm just he was Batman all over. I mean, he got a chance to play a live action Batman in the Flash TV. So I mean,
yeah,
that's I believe his first and only live uh, rendition of technically Bruce Wayne, but
right. And of course, he delivered his famous line, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman." In
God,
his
like, and you can't not hear his voice.
Oh no, like it's literally impossible, at least for me, to not hear Kevin Conroy's voice in that. But to kind of highlight some of the man himself, he was he had I believe was born in 1955 was what I saw. He was originally a stage and small time small screen television actor, classically trained. He kind of broke out on soap operas. And I was reading, obviously, this past week, I've been reading many different things about him, interviews, tweets, people just sharing stories, videos, and stuff like that. And yeah, apparently, the directors of Batman the Animated Series have been just auditioning people and person after person after person, and they're just like, man, I mean, none of them are just like none of them are the person that they were looking for. And so they asked the casting director, I believe her name is Andrea Romano, uh, if she knew anyone. She said, I think I got a guy. And so she contacted Kevin Conroy's agent. They brought him in and gave him the script, and I mean, he had known what Batman was, but he wasn't like a huge like comic book. He was kind of aware, but they kind of gave him the script and had him read both the parts of Bruce Wayne and Batman, and that was where Batman was really invented, was within that audition, because he changed his voice when he did
Yeah.
the audition. If you go back and listen to and watch the old Batman the Animated Series, he has a very distinct difference, and it's actually an octave change between Bruce Wayne, which is a softer tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a higher pitched voice, and just generally more of a kinder person. And then he switches to Batman, and he's a deeper and more gravelly
Yep.
voice.
Yep.
Uh, and there's a distinct difference in those characters and the way he acted. And he did his audition, and apparently the directors just kind of looked at each other, and he left, and they went, "Yeah, that's it.
That's Batman.
That's our Batman." And then,
He is
history
Batman.
right, history kind of wrote itself at that point. Like he henceforth has then been Batman. So it's interesting, like kind of how that is, and it's just so so sad that we lost him. But it's at the same time he was, like I said, instrumental to a generation.
Oh, absolutely.
There's been an outpouring from his fans and friends and everyone else on social media and everything, and obviously, one of his most famous cohorts in crime is Mark Hamill, who played the Joker opposite Kevin. And I realized
in a lot of renditions of Batman, they got those two specifically to do Batman and Joker, because from the animated series, they were so iconic and synonymous with the roles that, like, the Arkham games are the first ones that spring to mind. They got them to reprise their roles for that, specifically because they loved their dynamic. They loved the way they did their characters together. And, like, those two, I mean, there were all kinds of pictures that I've seen of, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill just, like, chilling out, hanging out buddy. And, it's heartwarming given all the sadness about all of it.
Right, and they were legitimately friends. Like, they became friends on the show and stayed friends. And I was actually again reading kind of an article. This one was actually by the casting, the ADR voice director for the show, and I was kind of talking about the whole thing. And what they were saying was that Andrea actually came from a traditional acting background, and then wound up getting into ADR and voice direction and things like that. She directed Smurfs, Snorks, DuckTales, the 90s version of DuckTales, and several other Hanna-Barbera shows as well. And she really kind of grasped what it meant to be an actor and a voice actor. So it actually became a rule that when Mark Hamill and Kevin were doing episodes together, they had to record in the same room with each other, because they would just they had that energy and that exchange between them. It actually was a rule on the show that if they were to record, they had to be scheduled at the same time and record in the same together.
That's really
awesome.
If
anybody knows voice acting, that's actually not something that commonly happens.
Yeah, it's usually you in a booth by yourself.
Yeah, typically a voice actor will go into a booth. I mean, it's just a little soundproof closet with a TV screen and a microphone, and you got your headset on where the director talks to you. That's it. You don't interact with any other actors.
Yep.
So this was very non-traditional, but you can just feel that energy that emanates between the two of them, and it just the whole thing just kind of reminds me back to that episode of Batman the Animated Series where Joker thinks Batman is dead.
Right.
He even says, without Batman, crime has no punchline. But yeah, and I realize I'm kind of bogarting the mic here, so sorry.
No. It's interesting because, I mean, it's seeing, kind of like you, seeing people online giving all this outpouring, talking to other people online, talking amongst ourselves. It's really neat just how many, like, fun memories, or not even fun, fond memories that people have of various versions of Conroy's Batman. Like, to me, I always liked his Batman Beyond, Bruce, because he changed the voice yet again. It wasn't just him reprising the voice. He changed his voice again to make Bruce sound even older, but yet wearier. And, like, just the way he portrayed him. And I mean, obviously a lot of that was the direction and the writing, but Kevin Conroy's spin and how he presented it, I always liked that version of a weary Bruce who has lost all faith and all trust in anybody, but still at the core is Batman. That was always, and I liked Batman Beyond in general, but it was always nice. I mean, the fact that he did play Batman so much, it created, even amongst, like, different series, different movies, different media, it created that sense of cohesiveness that Batman still sounds the same. That you're getting the same Batman, even if it's not necessarily the same Batman. And same thing with putting him opposite of Mark Hamill. Those two working together, you knew what you were getting into, and what you were getting into was a good time because those two were phenomenal.
Yeah, and if you kind of go back and look and watch some interviews like with them separately and them together, you can just feel that same energy and that friendship and that camaraderie that they had.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Kevin Conroy did again. He played the Caped Crusader for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you. I loved his rendition in Batman Beyond. And what's so interesting though as well is like if you go back to the Arkham game, he goes back to the younger Batman, but it's still a slightly different take because it's the younger Batman, but it's also the road weary Batman.
Right.
And if you play the games, you can hear like the weariness increasing in each game. I mean, he's been through hell and back again and continues throughout each game, and he's just getting more and more. He's Batman, but he gets the crap kicked out of him constantly.
Yes, he does.
What
I think, like, if I remember, it's been years since I've seen them, but Tim Burton's Batman was the same voice. Batman. I haven't seen, obviously, it's live action, but was the same voice. Batman and Bruce, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
it was Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. Yeah,
Michael
like
Keaton,
his name was escaping me there for a second.
Which, by the way, I've heard that he may be coming back as Batman, and Tim Burton may be getting another swag at a Batman film.
Well, I know that there was some talk, like with the Flash film being a multiverse thing, that they're trying to bring in prior Batman and whatnot. I don't know anymore. It's DC is canceling so many things. It's not even funny. But I mean, it wasn't until, at least in my recollection, it wasn't until Kevin Conroy did a voice for Bruce and a voice for the Batman that you finally started seeing that in like the live action media of changing the voice a little bit. I mean, heck, look at Christian Bale as an example. That's very different voices, and part of me wonders if he took inspiration from Kevin Conroy's Batman.
I mean, Kevin really did set the tone and the stage for how people are to play Batman,
right?
Moving forward, because he really grasped the fact that they are two separate. I shouldn't. Let me take that back. He never treated them as separate people. They are two sides of the same coin,
right?
But they have distinct differences between each other. It's a different, and Conroy was quoted in an interview that I read that he said that they're two masks that this person wears. He wears the mask of Bruce Wayne. He wears the mask of Batman, and so separating them, and that's when you think about it in the animation sense, like that's the voice is the only real way that the actor can make those distinctions. They don't animate the person, things like that.
Right.
They can't make those changes. At least with American animation, where it's drawn to obviously suit the American voice actors,
right?
Versus dubbing is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Typically, they'll record the lines first in American cartoons, and then they'll animate it,
right?
Kind of fit that voice. That's really the only way the actor has the ability to influence what we think of that character. I mean, if we go back and think about like Mark Hamill, when I first started watching Batman the Animated Series, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah,
I didn't know the Joker was him, and then like I don't know, maybe a year into it, I was watching the credits and I went, "Wait, what?" No, because it sounds so different. But now when I hear the Joker, when I hear Mark Hamill's rendition of the Joker, and I know it's him, I go, yeah, I can hear Mark Hamill.
Yep, exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, and Kevin Conroy really embraced that character. He enjoyed playing Batman, and he enjoyed, the fans of Batman. He was just incredibly loving of all of those fans, and was just so into it.
Well, see, and I'm kind of looking here at his IMDb stuff. Um, there is actually one thing it's a TV series that apparently was filming, so I obviously don't think it's been updated. It's scheduled to be out next year, where he's playing Thomas Wayne, called Batman Cape Crusader. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, even beyond Batman, let's see. He in the 2022 He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, he played Hordak. He played Merman in Masters of the Universe Revelation. Let's see. Let's see what else. Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, the TV series, he played Batman. Let's see, Batman, Batman. He's had a lot of Batmans. On Yoga Hosers, he played Canadian Batman. He played Alfred in the Alfred short of 2014, so kind of interesting there. He's played Thomas Wayne actually a couple times, but I mean, obviously he's most well known for Batman. Oh, do you remember Captain Sunshine from Venture Brothers?
Yes.
That was Kevin Conroy.
All right then.
All right. I mean, like, I'm scrolling through it here, like, okay, well, what else has he done other than Batman? Like, not downplaying or deriding his contributions, but I didn't realize just how many different pieces of media he played Batman in. This is actually kind of insane. And even if he didn't play Batman, he played some character in a lot of these different DC properties. Wow. I mean, scrolling all the way back here, his earliest thing was a TV movie called How to Pick Up Girls, where he played a bartender back in 1978. Man,
yep.
He's done a lot. Let's see, when did he?
Yeah, and Kevin Conroy isn't the only person, obviously, to play Batman. He's been played by several different actors, and if I go through and kind of look at things, let's see, in Gotham Knights, the most recent video game, it's Michael Antonakis. I think it's a Greek name, and I'm just not good at pronouncing it, so my apologies.
We're sorry, Michael.
Right. Bat Wheels is a 2022 TV show. He's voiced by Ethan Hawke.
Really?
Yes. DC's League of Super Pets. He's voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Yes. I knew that. That one I thought was really, really neat. I still need to see that, actually.
Injustice, he's voiced by Anson Mount. Let's see. What else we got? Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2 by Jensen Ackles.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Greenwood did him for Death in the Family. A lot of people would recognize Bruce Greenwood if they saw him. They may not know his name, though, because people always forget who he is. The most recent Star Trek J.J. Abrams verse, he was Captain or Admiral Pike, the guy that kind of gets Kirk into Starfleet.
Him, yeah. It's when you see him, you know who he is.
Yeah,
that guy.
Obviously, Troy Baker, Will Arnett for the Lego Batman, yep. Roger Craig Smith, Diedrich Bader.
Okay, I will admit, Diedrich Bader's Batman is probably my second favorite Batman.
Which is funny because, again, Diedrich Bader is one of those guys that you have no idea who he is until
I know who he is.
Him.
He played the security guard in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I said, ooh, what a lovely tea party. or no, when you're all done, I want you to look up and say, ooh, what a lovely... Oh, yeah, so... But yeah, I mean, it's again, not downplaying Conroy's contributions, but I mean, there are, like Ian has stated, there are a variety of actors and voice actors who can do Batman, but none of them will be Kevin Conroy just because of the icon status that he holds. So it's going to be both sad and interesting now that obviously he's not going to be with us anymore to provide anything new. It's going to be interesting to see if DC picks out a new, signature Batman, if you will, or if they're just going to go, okay, well, who's available right now? Because I mean, with Conroy, he was kind of the go-to, because he was Batman.
Yeah, and if we think about like Batman, there's obviously another iconic Batman, which is the Adam West Batman. But the Adam West Batman is definitely played as a tongue-in-cheek Batman.
Yes,
Like
it is
was
a very
never
slapstick.
intended.
Well, not slapstick, but it was, yeah.
It's tongue-in-cheek. It was never intended to be taken seriously.
Yep.
It was
It was campy, but it was
yeah,
supposed to be.
right. It was campy. It was supposed to be. So though, they're two distinct Batmans, and
Batman?
you know,
Batman?
Batman,
Batman Eye?
Batmany.
The League of Batmans.
The League of Batmany.
The Batmany. There we go. I like that, actually.
Trademark. You heard it here.
We'll take our check anytime, DC.
Yes, exactly. And actually, I've forgotten about this one in the Dark Knight Returns TV movies. It was Peter Weller who played.
Oh yeah.
Played Batman. So it's again, there's just so many people out there who have played the Bat, but they're all really kind of taking inspiration. Kevin Conroy. He was just that influential to the history and mythos of Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
So, there's so many people out there again that have shared the voice with him, and they're all kind of elevated in this path of bats. I mean, for me personally, I'd say that the top of that pantheon is Kevin Conroy.
Oh,
there's just no other Batman.
I was gonna say, I don't think you will come across a person who is a fan of the superhero genre who will tell you with a straight face, I didn't like Kevin Conroy's Batman. I don't think you'll be able to find that.
I think you may find that for people that are purposely trying to be derisive.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Or people that are online and hidden behind the veil of the internet.
That's true.
And protected by the veil of the internet. Because, I love the nerd community, but we can be kind of like hardcore sometimes. If somebody went to a convention hall and said, well, Kevin Conroy's Batman was not very good, actually, they'd get the crap kicked out of them.
You would never find the body.
Yeah, you would need Batman in order to find where they hit it.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just, and kind of as an aside, like I still remember, when I heard the news about this, you and I were both at work, and I sent you a message like, hey, Kevin Conroy passed away, and your response was just, what?
Nani?
Exactly. Well, something that like, to my knowledge, like his battle with cancer wasn't like a super public thing, but I mean that seems to be sadly a trend amongst people who are in superhero media. Like, Chadwick Boseman famously passed away from cancer, and no one, I mean, like some of his closest friends and family knew, but like it wasn't a publicly known thing. I'm not sure if, like, I don't recall hearing anything about Kevin Conroy battling cancer.
I believe that what I saw was he publicly came out about it not that long ago. Like,
okay.
it was really I don't know if he'd been battling it for a while, if he knew about it for a while, but it kind of seems like he announced or at least said something about it, and then it just hit like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And yeah, with Chadwick Boseman, I mean, he battled it for years.
Yeah.
When he was filming Black Panther and even, Avengers movies, he was battling cancer during those times. So it's a terrible, it's really terrible when it hits people.
Yeah.
There's so many people that sadly we're not getting any younger, and Tim and I are talking often about our heroes and the legends from our generation, and
they're getting fewer and fewer.
They're getting fewer and fewer, and they're dying off, and sometimes very unexpectedly. I mean, if you look back several years ago, Carrie Fisher, our princess, very suddenly passed away, and we were all just really devastated by it. I don't know that I've been that emotionally distraught since when Carrie Fisher died, it was since the death of Robin Williams, those hit me like just a truck. And Kevin Conroy's, he's another one of them that's just, it's gonna be hard to really really process that, and it's gonna take a while. And
Yeah. And I think that's true for a lot of people in the D. Like whenever you lose an icon, like it's somebody that, like you had stated, this is somebody that we grew up with. Not, personally, we didn't live next door to him, as cool as that would have been, but we grew up with him. We got to know Batman. We got to know Bruce Wayne through Kevin Conroy. And while, it's not like losing a family member, you still have that, as a nerd, you still have that emotional attachment knowing that the person that brought, one of the most iconic heroes to life effect, it's done. That's the end of the road for him.
yeah, but he will forever be a legend.
Oh, absolutely.
In the nerd community, much to the tune of people like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. When you think about, again, that pantheon of famous people that kind of elevated the nerd community, these are the people that you think of.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, he's part of that. He's part of that community. Adam West, part of that community. Arlene Sorkin, pioneered Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And Harley Quinn is a tour de force now.
Oh, absolutely.
Of the nerd community. I mean, she's just everywhere, and it's amazing considering that, again, she started off as a sidekick. Like, she was literally not going to appear more than like once.
Yeah. It was just supposed to be like a joke in one episode, and then boom, and that just goes. And I mean, a lot of it was not only just the character itself, but the way she was portrayed, and that just right there goes to speak volumes to how important voice actors are to the characters. Because you can have the best writing, you can have the best animation, you can have an amazing script, but if the person bringing the character to life doesn't give them that life, it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. And it's, there's so many just amazing voice actors out there, and I love the art of voice acting, and because there's so much comprised in it, and there's so much nuance. There's people out there that just think, oh, you just go and talk into a microphone.
It's a lot more than that.
But again, when you really think about it, these actors have no ability other than through their voice to put any kind of emotion or sense of being or gravitas or anything to these characters.
Yeah.
So their voice it's amazing. But
I agree 100%.
But kind of, again, jumping back a little bit to Kevin Conroy, he's definitely going to be. We wish him, Godspeed, you, Batman. You'll always be our Batman. So I guess with that kind of somber tone there, we'll kind of wrap things up. Thank you for sticking with us while we nerded out and homage to a great human being.
Yeah.
It was just instrumental to our child. And I'm trying to get through this without tearing up and being down in tears, and it's becoming very difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this up.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Thank you for joining us as always. You can catch us on all of our social media on Separate Nerds and Twitch. You can also big shout out to our and hosting platform. So we wish you all and good night whenever you're. And I think that'll be about it. For the Non Sequitur Nerds, as always, I am Ian.
And I'm Tim. Good night, everybody.